So, what was life like before I tuned into discipline? Well, it was unstructured chaos. I'm not going to lie. I ate what I wanted to eat. I lifted when I wanted to lift it, and I never had a plan. I never set any real goals or had any real intentions, especially after I ended up last year with osteoarthritis in both of my knees. And that basically took away my long running endurance career. And with that being gone, I just felt like I was missing out. Eventually, I got over it and I just started lifting weights again. And as the weights got heavier and I got stronger, I started getting bigger and heavier, ballooning up to 260 pounds at one point. Again, I was working out all the time, but I was also eating whatever I wanted to eat, whenever I wanted to eat. And I didn't really have a structure or a plan in mind because I didn't have a goal or I wasn't working towards a goal in any way. But as most of you know, I got really close to death in January of 2025. And that was literally the moment that the switch turned inside my brain. And when I left the hospital 20 pounds lighter, not because I lost a healthy amount of weight, but because I had internal bleeding and viral meningitis and pneumonia and type A flu, and I was on a liquid diet for 7 days. So I left that hospital 20 pounds lighter because I was on a starvation diet and I was atrophied and I was weak and I was had a long road of recovery ahead of me. But that is the moment that the switch flipped in my head, that I knew if there was anything that I could do to control my ability to live a longer and a healthier life, then I was going to do that. It was going to be changing the way I eat or the way I had my emotional attachments with food. Before, I would get bored and just gorge myself at night or eat whatever I wanted any time of the day. Depression, or if I was angry about something, would affect the way I eat. But food is fuel now. It's still emotional at times, but it doesn't have that same tie or control over me that it had before. So it started there. It started with being a little better in the way I ate every day, because when I first left the hospital, it was a couple of months before I really had true energy and strength back to where I could start walking intentionally and exercising intentionally and lifting weights again. It was a couple of months before I could do that. So I had to focus on what I ate. I didn't eat perfect right off the bat, for, by no means. It was a slowly building habits over time and increasing my water and just, changing little bits each day to try to get that 1% better. But then as my energy did return, I started walking a lot more and with intention. And I started lifting weights again. And I went at it with like this new fire and desire inside me, because I didn't want to be the youngest person in the nursing home. More importantly, I didn't want to die at 52. I don't want to die at 62 or 72. I know I don't have control on when I go, because when the good Lord calls me home, that's when I go. But I wanted to do everything within my ability, things that I could control and cause effect to. And so that meant eating better. That meant moving more intentionally. That meant drinking more water. That meant doing strength training. And that meant working on my sleep habits. 5 basic, simple habits that I started building on slowly over time. And then I had an amazing opportunity to go to UHP, Unlock Human Potential, with Team Red, White, and Blue, which is a veterans organization that helps get veterans off the couch and just start moving more. So I got to go down there for like a 4-day experience where I got to learn a little bit about their certified personal training program, their integrative health coaching program, and a new program that they were starting, CNC nutritional coaching. And while I was there, or before I actually got there with Team Red, White, Blue, I actually put in my application to go to CPT. Knowing that I didn't have the GI Bill, that's the best thing about going to UHP, Unlock Human Potential, is they can use your veteran benefits, your GI Bill, all sorts of resources that you can do to pay for the training that you go to. I didn't have GI Bill. I'm not drawing veterans benefits right now because I'm still in active duty, but I was able to get scholarships. Team Red, White, and Blue, while I was at their 4-day event, their 4-day experience, I actually got notified that I was accepted to go to the Certified Personal Training Program in July, and I was zero out of pocket. All I had to do was arrange my own transportation to get there. So it was amazing. It was perfect timing. Excuse me, congested today. I ended up going to UHP, connecting with amazing veterans and service members that are still serving. And once again, like the fire that was in me, that was driving me to be better and to change myself, it a switch just kind of flipped in my head again, because I was getting such positive feedback from the veterans, the soldiers, and even the coaches at UHP while I was there. And it's funny because several of them made comments about how I looked like a bodybuilder. And I would always laugh them off. I'm like, dude, I'm an old fat soldier. Like, I've never been a bodybuilder. I couldn't be a bodybuilder. And yet they kept speaking that into me positively in a manner that it started planting this seed. And before I ended up leaving UHP, at the end of getting my certification and all that stuff, part of that training was building a business plan. I told them straight up, I have no desire to build a business right now. I'm still serving on active duty. That's not really a reality for me. But they wanted me to still go through that process and, just pretend what kind of business I would want to be. So I was like, okay, I'm a certified personal trainer. I want to coach people. I want to train people to be better, because like it paid off for me. I'm losing all this weight and getting better, healthier, and stronger. And so I did. I started building that basic business plan, that really quickly, within a matter of 2 weeks, not even that long, probably developed into Iron Legacy Coaching. I actually came up with the title and the name while I was still at UHP, Iron Legacy Coaching. It was between that and one other name, which I don't even recall right now. I would have to go through my history of notes and pictures and all that stuff where I was coming up with the idea. But that's how Iron Legacy Coaching actually came to mind for me. Now, all this time while this was going on and I was there at UHP, these veterans and these soldiers, these people that I looked up to because they were so much more fit to me in my eyes, they just kept speaking it to me like, dude, you should compete. You could compete. Like, they literally just kept speaking to me in that positive manner and planting that seed. Next thing I know, graduated, back at work, getting my normal routine. And it's been a couple of weeks. And I woke up one day, early September, and I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to compete in 2026 in an old man's bodybuilding competition, physique more specifically. And so I started working towards that. At the same token, I started building more of a plan towards Iron Legacy Coaching. So now I've got my certification as a CPT, certified personal trainer. I've got my nutritional coaching certification. I've been still steadily improving myself and working towards getting my body fat percentage down while maintaining some muscle mass. And so I have 2 big goals for 2026, technically 3. One is I want to compete in a High Rocks competition in Houston at the end of March. And 2, in July, I'd like to do a bodybuilding competition in the senior athletes over 50 years old, Masters division, in the physique class of bodybuilding. And of course, I really want to get Iron Legacy Coaching going. I have an amazing opportunity with Directional Force to do a little bit of collaboration and affiliation with them. And so as much as I want to promote them and help them, they've been really kind to want to do the same for me. So that's basically it. I treated my personal life the same way I would treat my mission, and I just started setting goals. I started working towards those goals and doing smaller step that, like, I was 260 whenever I went to the hospital. I came out 20 pounds lighter than that. And I just incrementally worked my way down to 202 pounds. I'm back up right now for a little bit of bulk at about 212 pounds, but it's also Thanksgiving and Christmas and winter, so I'm not worried about that. Um, but I just started building those consistent little daily habits, and discipline over motivation, progress over perfection every single time. That's the way I've done this.